every time I pass this guy. Give him a little clap. Welcome to episode 7 in the series of Insights at the Lighthouse. The lighthouse is right behind me, as you could see before. Hard to see from here, but it's right here. And I'm doing it from here because, it's a different place. The question today is, or the topic today is, why do you need to take all the steps to arrive? You know, when I was younger, in my young adulthood, I knew I wanted freedom. And I thought money was the way to get that freedom. And in some respect in this society it is. If you have a lot of money, you are fairly free. Well, right until the situation in the world happened, right? And money doesn't really matter anymore, does it? But I was very impatient. I was very everything had to happen in a hurry. And I saw the image in my mind of what I wanted, almost like I was already there. But I very early on, when I took the steps, got disappointed of how much work it would take to get there. Probably because it wasn't worth it. Probably because it wasn't the right goal. Probably because a lot of things. But I think one of the main things was that I was not willing to take all the steps to accomplish what I had started. And of course, there's a lot of things that could be the reason for that. I think mostly it was probably that it was not the right, goal or vision or whatever. I think it's better with the sun is gets in the way. But what I wanted to talk about here is just what I discovered on my journey walking from Denmark to Finisterre here. Because I realized very often that when I arrived into the places where I arrived, I think one of the first times was in Germany, where I walked to this church, or to this, it was on a farm, but it was a priest who lived there, and they hosted people once in a while, pilgrims. And I remember laying there as I was about to go to sleep, and I felt like I was here, I was there. But I'd never been there before, and I just arrived like just a few hours before, or some hours before, not many. And it felt really good. It felt like I was here. I arrived. I knew I was here. It didn't feel like my body or my mind or something had to catch up, just like when you have a jet lag, or if you fly from some continent to another. Sometimes you feel like it takes, maybe a day or two or more to recover, or to just feel like you're there, that you arrived. And I actually think it's because it's very unnatural to travel fast. We are human beings that have a long history of walking the world, walking to where we were heading, or maybe using animals, meaning that if you went on a horse, you probably you were close to nature still, something natural, because you were around a horse or animals. And I think when you fly, I think it's easier if you take a car, or if you take a train or something, because you can sort of follow what's happening. But I still think it's a bit too fast. So when you walk, it feels like you arrive every time. It feels like you are actually taking all the steps. And very often it made me think about that if we try to skip steps, just like taking the car, or if I had taken the bus, the last 5 kilometers one day or something, I would not have felt like I had arrived. I would not have felt like that I did this, or that I took all the steps needed to arrive to where I was heading. But when I took all the steps, I was satisfied, I was grateful, I was happy. I did feel like I accomplished something that day. I arrived, I manifested that day's goal. And I think that if you start a business, start a project, start sketching a big image or a picture or write a book. There's a lot of steps that goes into that. I think the faster you do it, the more steps you skip, the worse the product will become. And the worse the experience will be, the worse the result will be, because it will not be full of all the steps, all the errors, all the rewriting, all the re-sketching, all the sometimes you need the feedback from people when you start a business or start creating something. And sometimes the feedback might be, and you might need to take that honestly, and you might realize that, okay, yeah, that person, that those eyes were correct. I need to look at that again and make some changes. And perhaps it could be an entire chapter of a book, or maybe the storyline doesn't fit well with the overall idea, or it doesn't matter. But you get the idea. So I think it's important to realize that taking all the steps is actually the way to make the most out of anything, and to actually arrive at where you want to be, even though it might take longer, even though it might just be more it just might take more work. So I think that's just the the thought of the day. Take all the steps and you will always arrive. I think it's a very important point, because it's really how it is, and I love that I have done this so often every day for 5 months walking, because it has made me realize that when you start something, you really need to take all the steps, and there's a long way to the end. But if you do it for the right reasons, you always are willing. You will always be always be willing to take the steps, because you will always have that experience of, okay, I know that this will be worthwhile. Because when I take all the steps, I know the result will be a lot better. I'll be a lot more satisfied. The product will be a lot better. I will be a lot better. I will grow a lot more. Because if I skip something, if I try to skip all the time and always jump over where the fence is the shortest or whatever, what's the name, with the phrase there, then you will always end up disappointed, because you will realize that the end goal have some holes in it, because you didn't take all the steps, because you didn't do all that you needed to do for that to happen. So take all the steps, be okay with it. We living in a very fast-paced society. Maybe not right now, but we used to. And I think it's important to just really be sure that you take a step at a time. Do it with patience. Imagine this. There was once where we walked everywhere. There was once where we took the time. We didn't hurry like that. We just knew that it would take time to walk to get to this next place. But in our society, we have kind of gotten accustomed to that we need to, get an education fast, build a business fast, get rich fast. And when you do all that so fast, and when you're so impatient, what do you end up with? Results that are very disappointing, that are not strong in its foundation. My dad always says that grow slow, grow strong, like a tree. A tree grows slow and then it grows strong. If you see a tree that has been growing for 50, 100 years, you can't tip that over. It's too strong. Has too many roots. So like yourself, you need to grow slow. You need to do that by taking the steps, the small steps, even the small, very tiny step. Tomorrow, take that step, and then take another tomorrow, and the next day. And some days it might be a very long step, and other days it might be a really short one. But as long as you take all the steps, you'll arrive, and you'll feel that you have a solid and grow solid foundation for yourself, for the project you're developing, for your vision, for whatever it is. You can't hurry. If you hurry, there will be, hurry is not the same as being in a flow state, and you need to take all the steps to get to those flow states. So I think that's all I want to say about that. Take the steps. And as a tree, grow slow, grow strong. That's what I've learned on this trip. And I hope it will help you too. Be well until tomorrow.